Often tastes better when it's prepared by mom or grandma. That may be because it might be more authentic.
Mexican food instructor Leonor Alcantara-Gilsdorf moved from Mexico to the United States. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
So what was family dinner like for you growing up?
Well, it was more interesting with fresh foods every day and eating with the whole family together.
And so fresh food was on the menu pretty much every time?
Yes,
Okay.
mainly.
No microwave?
No, not microwave.
And we're going to be making pico de gallo today.
Yes.
But at home right now, do you still cook the way your parents cooked?
Yes, I do.
So you
I bring the fresh fruit usually, and then I cook at home in the
Okay.
same way. Yeah.
Now there's a meaning behind pico de gallo. What exactly does it mean?
Well, it means the pick of the rooster. As spicy it is, the pepper, as spicy would be the salsa.
Oh, okay. So we're ready to make some spicy stuff here today. Let's get started. What's the first thing to do?
Well, we have to add the ingredients like onion and tomatoes and red tomatoes and the jalapeno and then the cilantro.
Okay.
And so,
And it looks like a pretty basic recipe. There's not a ton of things going into this.
yes,
So,
it's very, very simple.
okay, well let's go ahead and start chopping up
Okay.
tomatoes, I guess, or
Yes, I
onions.
guess
the first thing?
onion is the first.
Sure.
We can start with the first.
And we'll try not to get too close to the onion right now. Now, what about the green bunching onions? Can you use that instead of a white onion, or does it matter what type of onion?
Well, it has to be like white onion because the onion gives you the flavor in the salsa, and the green onion usually is more mild.
Okay.
So it depends how much do you like it.
And now we're actually cutting, by hand. Is there a difference between a food processor or cutting by hand? Which one is better?
I guess it just depends on the person. Most people like to be doing by hand. It's more common. But if it's in any events, well, you can be working with the other cutters.
And I've noticed sometimes when using a food processor, it gets a little frothy. Is that a bad thing?
It depends how much it is chopped, because usually those cutters, usually you chop twice instead of one time, so it can be in that case. So you just need to pour.
And we've got our little demo
yeah,
cam.
just gonna-
The onion
yeah.
coming
Yes.
up.
You can't smell it through the camera, but
Yes. And now you have a Mexican cooking class. What inspired you to start teaching others?
Well, it's very interesting, actually. I really enjoyed it, teaching the classes, because mainly the people can have a little experience in the kitchen, and also to learn how to cook some different meals for their families. So I think it's kind of interesting. They can do it at home, and it's easy to cook.
is this considered an easy recipe, what we're doing today?
Yes, it is.
So this would be a good starter for
Yes.
somebody who's just starting into Mexican
Yes,
type
absolutely.
cuisine.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put it over here.
So we'll dump it in the dish.
That's a
Yes.
lot of onions. That looks
well,
good.
I'm just gonna be a little bit.
So we've got the onions done.
Yes, and then it comes the red
Okay.
tomato.
Now, tomatoes come in a lot of different sizes and shapes and things. What is important with tomatoes?
Well, the tomato, it has to be if it's the red tomato or the Roma tomato. The Roma tomato gives you the flavor. So the red, it's as the red it is, the flavor it would get in your salsa.
Okay. So you want really ripe tomatoes then when you're doing this?
Yes. I usually, when as fresh it is, the tomatoes, as fresh as your salsa will become.
Okay.
And we're cutting all these vegetables up. Is there a certain size to cut the ingredients into?
Well, for this kind of salsa, usually it's more chopping in little squares, but there are other kinds of salsas that is making a little differently.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
so
And we
it's gonna-
have a couple minutes left. We may
So-
not get through everything. You're trying to chop as fast as you can.
yeah.
So we have the tomatoes. We also have jalapeno. And there are a lot of different peppers as well. I mean, there's just the normal green peppers, which are really mild. Jalapenos are a little more spicy, and on and on. What is normal for pico de gallo?
Usually it's the serrano peppers, because the traditional one is the spicy, as you'll
Okay.
get. And the jalapeno peppers, it's mild pepper, so it can be spicy, but not as strong as the serrano.
And we have all these, traditional, when you think of salsa, you think of tomatoes and onions and peppers, but we also have a lime up here. And what is the purpose of the lime?
The lime gives you the flavor and also gives you the how kind of mild the salsa. So sometimes it's just mainly it's the taste and the flavor too.
Okay. So once we get that in, the peppers, how much can you deviate from this recipe? Can you just throw things in that you think might taste good?
Well, you can add a little bit of olive oil, just kind of mild. If you don't like so much spicy, you can just skip one of the peppers or mild with the olive oil. Some people add black pepper, so
Okay.
and just for taste.
Excellent. And then we just mix all those things together, and then we're good
exactly.
to go. All right. Well, we're gonna go to break here. We're gonna let you keep chopping, but
Okay.
thank you so much for coming on the
Yes,
show
thank
today.
you. It
It
was
smells delicious.
okay.